Canela Media's global president Phillipe Guelton describes how the company is tapping AI for content creation, user experience and monetization. Listen on.
Welcome to this week's edition of Inside the Stream. This is Will Richmond from Video News, and Colin Dixon from In-Stream Media is with me, as always. And Colin, today we have a great interview set up.
We do. Another great interview. We're talking with Canela Media's Phillipe Guelton. He's the global president there. And we're really excited to bring Phillipe to us. They're doing so many innovative things over there at Canela Media, right, Will?
They are. We're going to be talking about content creation, AI, audience targeting through advertising. We talk about their success with club membership. So pretty wide-ranging interview, and I think we're ready to get started.
Yep.
And we are pleased to have, as Colin mentioned, Phillipe Guelton today with us, Global President of Canela Media. Welcome, Phillipe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Great. It's good to have you. And why don't we start at the beginning, Phillipe? Tell us about Canela Media and what you're focused on and distribution, etc. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, Canela Media is not just a media company, but it's really innovation driven with a lot of new technology and new products with the aim of reaching U.S. Hispanics and super serving their needs in the U.S. We also have some presence in Latin, by the way. But right now, the biggest opportunity is the U.S. market. It's been growing so much. As we know, U.S. Hispanics driving more than 60% of the population growth in the last 5 years. And they represent a huge part of the market, the advertiser market as well. It is an influential part of our population. And as we know from the last election and probably in the next one as well. And it's right now all hands on deck for the World Cup that is coming up next year. It's going to be really, very energetic thanks to the Hispanic community in the country. So we are probably, we continue to be by far the largest streamer, independent streamer at least, reaching Hispanics in the U.S. market. 80% of our audience is bilingual. They're educated, and as you may know, Hispanics tend to over-index when it comes to digital adoption and streaming. So it is the perfect audience to focus on.
Very good.
And Phillipe, can you just tell us a little more about the programming that you do in terms of linear channels, fast channels, on demand? What does this sort of portfolio, Canela Media portfolio, look like?
So when you think about Canela, there are different, you're right, there are different ways we're reaching out to the audience. The primary one is Canela app, Canela TV. So Canela TV has 35,000 hours of content, all in Spanish, pretty much, available on demand. But we also have dozens and dozens of fast channels that are available within the app. And they are our own unoperated channels, but also from big partners and studios that are very eager to distribute their content in Spanish. So that's the core of the business. And then we syndicate a lot of our channels as well to pretty much every other fast platform that exists out there, from Roku to Samsung, LG, Vizio, and the rest. So these are really the main ways we reach out to our consumers, in addition to some of the advertising retargeting that we will talk about, I'm sure.
And one of the things that you've just done is you've just launched an audience loyalty program, and that's definitely interesting to me. And I'm sure I'd love to hear more about what you're doing there and what your expectations for the program are.
We launched 6 months ago, Club Canela. It's really unique. I don't think anyone else has one in the free AVOD or free streaming market. And basically, the concept is very simple. The more you watch, the more you earn points. And You can earn points by not only watching content, but following challenges. There are games, there are ways for you to engage with the content. So we really talk about gamification of content. And then you can use these points for exclusive content, digital gift cards, special access. And so, it's interesting to know that Hispanics totally over-index in terms of loyalty program usage, as well as casual gaming. And so this is really the perfect, storm where we offer them a way to have fun. It's a very fun and engaging experience, and but also watch the content they want to watch.
And how do you, just basic logistical question, how does their viewership get tracked in order to contribute to their club status?
So we encourage them to register, obviously, and of course that's one of the benefits of this platform is people need to register to get the benefit of their points. And it's generated a lot of engagement, and we estimate about 24 million incremental minutes watched on the platform since we launched it. And it's a great way for super fans, to be really engaging with the platforms, and we get amazing feedback from the audience saying, okay, well, this is my world. Now you are my platform where I want to come and watch content every day. So that's been an amazing success. By the way, it's also a platform where we allow brands to interact with our audience. So we've had amazing support from brands like Hyundai, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and Verizon. All have one way or another participated in setting up challenges or games for the audience. So it's again a great way to build the connection with the audience.
Could you just, I didn't know you were doing this. This sounds fascinating. Could you just give us an example of how that works? It sounds really interesting.
Yeah, so for example, we can create a lot of these programs we create for brands are custom built because we built it all in-house. So we control the platform. It's not a white label, off the shelf platform because there's really none sophisticated the one we have. But for example, for a specific brand, we can sponsor original series, for example, and for every episode we're going to have a quiz, and as they watch every episode and answer those questions, they'll be eligible for incremental points or a gift. And of course this quiz or this engagement is sponsored by the brand. So that's one way, for example, to very easily connect the dots between them. And I would say, we just added, I know we'll talk about AI, but one AI development related to Club Canela is we just unveiled or debuted our new host, Diego, who is AI generated host, virtual host, is very handsome, is very engaging, and is talking to the audience and reminds them to register and come play with us in the Club Canela. So one way to also make this a more personalized experience and more engaging experience.
How has the response to Diego been, Phillipe?
Everybody wants to, be with Diego or marry Diego. I don't know, but it's been amazing, and I think we're going to see more of Diego in the different settings and different places on Canela soon.
So one of the areas that you are investing is a hot topic right now, which is micro dramas. We're hearing a lot about that. We know Cinemedia's just launched a big effort, and now you're in. Tell us about what you're planning on doing there.
Well, this is the month actually we just launched a new branded area called Canelitas, small canelas. And it's going to be the place for macro episodes, macro dramas. And we're very excited about that. All this content, by the way, is going to be both available horizontally or vertically on phone, so that it can live seamlessly on Canela TV or social, like YouTube and other platforms. And we're starting with actually repurposing existing content, the most popular content, whether it's telenovelas or some series, or in particular, we have a whole collection of classic Mexican films that we own. We own that library. And they are they're classic movies from the golden age of Mexican cinema, from the 50s and 60s. We're very famous actors and actresses. We've actually redigitized all these movies to make them available right now on Canela and on YouTube. And we are recutting them using AI to create those mini dramas from these very classic movies, making them really available to younger generations who may not be watching, this old black and white movie in the first place, making them very fun to follow. And we think this is really the way to go. So that's the first step. Basically we call quick binge of existing content. The next step that we're deep into, we haven't launched yet, is originals, original TV shows. So those are in production right now, and they're going to be 100% AI supported. And then the production of these AI generated creators or influencers or characters, and have them live within the platform, but also, and more importantly, within ad campaigns. We launched an amazing campaign with Audible, where we're mixing AI generated characters with our very human hosts of Café con Canela, which is our morning show, and have them interact. And this becomes really, a very fun, integrated way to bring a brand into the content. And that's something I'd love to show you more about and talk more about, because I think that's the future of advertising, and really the perfect mix of humans and AI generated characters, and to create a really fun and engaging way to create content.
I tell you what, if you can provide us with a link, we'll provide that link to our listeners.
Definitely.
So listeners, just stop by Will or my website, and we'll include a link to that material in our postings of this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Phillipe, let's just circle back to something you said. I heard you say that your original TV shows that you're focusing on now are 100% AI supported. I think that's what you said. Can you just clarify
I don't know
what
if it's 100%, but yeah, I mean, actually, everything that's in production right now is AI related. Like, with AI supported, let's say. And I think, for us, there's this conflict where people say, well, you're just creating through AI, and where's the human touch? And of course, AI is just a tool. It's a tool that creators can leverage to create content. And we think that, in particular, for creators who don't have huge budgets, right, and where it was out of reach for them to create content, professional looking content before, AI is actually giving them an opportunity to do that. And that really applies really well to the Hispanic creators, who may have been there was a bias probably in the past, and not giving them the means to create that content. And now with AI tools, they are able to do it. So we feel like it's actually a very positive addition to the way we've been creating content. But we have created, definitely traditional legacy originals with, reality TV shows. We produce a number of movies every year. And I think this may continue, but I think increasingly you're going to see, you're going to leverage these new tools to make the content even more engaging and professionally looking.
So let's talk a little bit more about advertising. It sounds like one of the things that you're looking to do is to improve targeting. Tell us more about that, what you're planning on doing there.
So the company very own really tried to focus on, who is our audience and how do we know who they are? Obviously, things like Club Canela is a perfect example of how we get to know them better and engage with them. And what is really characteristics of Canela is that by coming to watch content on Canela, all our viewers are selecting themselves as Hispanics, right? All our content is Spanish. We know that they're coming for the content. And so that first party data becomes, extremely precious because we know 100% they're Hispanic. So much of the supposedly Hispanic targeting is done by, broad strokes evaluations, trying to recognize people last names or where they live, and this is very not precise. Our audience is 100% qualified by coming and watch our content, and we've already been using that relationship broadly by following them as they leave Canela and they go to other platforms and watch other content. And whether they watch, by the way, content in Spanish and English doesn't matter because we know who they are. And so we know there's those bilingual Hispanics that are moving around and watching content. So that's been already a big part of our activity, which is to broaden the scope and broaden the scale of our reach from our own and operated to other platforms that allow us to target our viewers. But now we're going way beyond that. So obviously we were already applying additional data to create custom segments and being able to refine the targeting and knowing who these people are. And now we can expand that retargeting, by the way, on YouTube, which is brand new for us and very exciting because there are really no good ways actually to target Hispanics on YouTube right now. And so by mixing, or using our knowledge of our audience and finding them on YouTube, we're able to deliver that reach to our advertisers. But now we're using our data new ways. One, by proposing what we call an incrementality tool, where we can pretty much measure and guarantee that clients are buying incremental reach, in addition to maybe big other Hispanic platforms or other streaming platforms. And then bringing the whole data set to the market as a data product itself. And then working with partners who are trying to reach this audience and letting them do it, based on our data. So we're basically becoming a data company, or a big part of our business is in turning into a data product. And knowing we have a trusting audience, and we know who they are, and we know where they're going, and all along making sure that we can allow others to benefit from that information.
Do you eventually see, Phillipe, that, as you say, the company is becoming a data company, that revenue from potentially licensing that data or finding other ways to monetize it could eclipse the media side of the company?
I don't know about eclipsing, because obviously we continue to grow our own operated platform and our reach, but certainly it's going to become a big part of the business. And really there are not a lot of sources of this data in the US right now. Very few people, because it is CTV, by the way, it's CTV based, right? There might be other people who have data from the web, or online or mobile side. But when it comes to connected TV, there are very, very few players, and we don't think anyone is doing it as well as we are. So that's why this is so precious. If you want to reach these people on television, you got to come to us.
You mentioned social media earlier. Tell us about what your strategy is there.
So social media is really critical. I mean, we doubled our number of followers this year. YouTube has been a growing driver of that, where we're putting a lot of our content on YouTube, in particular, even these classic movies, right, that are doing so well.
I saw that. I was browsing this morning, yeah.
Right? And some of them are getting millions and millions of views. So there's definitely a need or a want, and we know that YouTube has, I don't know how many billion users. So if you provide exclusive content that is really unique, you're going to find your audience there. So that's one platform. We've been building, presence on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok, and playing again around all our content, doing clips. For example, again, those classic movies live there not only as a whole movie, but they live with number of clips and summaries that people can watch, and so it's both a way to let people watch content, but also it's a great way to promote the brand and bring them back to Canela to watch more of it.
That's great. So, Phillipe, we don't have a ton of time left, but would love to just engage you about bigger trends in the industry. So, you guys, you talked about obviously the role of data, social, other things. What are some of the key trends that you're keeping an eye on, and how are you going about executing against them?
Well, I think, everybody's talking about creators, and I think clearly we're deep into it, working with not only virtual creators, but with real ones. We have a lot of influencers who are working with us, some of our originals, and now we're bringing them the opportunity to create their own content. So that's one key area. Everybody's talking about AI, and I think it's going to be a huge factor in both, generating a new audience, because we can create content that appeals, especially to the younger generation. So that's a big driver, but also, reduction in cost, because now we can provide really professionally created content at a lesser cost, because we actually create it all in-house. We may partner with some people in the market who are doing great content, but we have made the decision to actually have our own production team in-house to leverage AI and create a new programming. And then on the advertising side, it's obviously the power of measurement, of verification, of targeting, of reporting. So one element of our data strategy, which I didn't mention, is rooted actually in reporting, analysis, benchmarking, and giving the tools to clients and agencies to measure and their performance and know how well they're doing. So performance is really the key word here nowadays. You can't just be bought based on being nice and having nice content. You have to demonstrate you're delivering value to your brands.
Indeed. Phillipe, this has been fabulous. I think you're doing some things with AI that would make a lot of much bigger companies very jealous. You are riding that wave of technology, it sounds like, and out there in the lead.
Yes, well, it's a lot of fun. Our CEO, Isabel Rafferty, she's a technology savvy person, and she's always been focused on innovation. So that's what's driving the whole organization, I think, and we're seeing it now in the products we're launching.
Yep.
Great. Well, Phillipe, we thank you very much for joining us today on Inside the Stream, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yep. Thanks, Phillipe. Inside the Stream is a production of In-Screen Media and Video News, all rights reserved.